Okay, so this is the first view that you're presented with when you first open up the live pack. This is the session view in Ableton Live. This is the view that you use to actually perform pieces of electronic music live. I've divided it up into 6 tracks or layers. Each one of these contains a certain element of sound that I like to control when I play. We've got a bass, a kick, a percussion. Percussion has all the snare drums, hi-hats. We've got synths, which have pads, melodies, vocals or whatever. Techie bits, which is all the glitchy stuff and usually the high end of the bass, and the rest, which is where everything else lives, sound effects and that kind of thing. So these are my 6 layers. You can think of them as instruments if you want. And in each one of these layers we have lots of little squares, and these squares can contain samples or loops. They contain a sample or loop when there's a coloured thing, a little coloured square with a play symbol like this in it, and you can see that I've named each loop according, well, to the best of my ability what it actually is. So I've also split this up into 3 separate little subgroups, which is separated by this scene or horizontal row here. This first one is straight through, so this will simply play the entire tune straight through from the start to the finish. These clips aren't loops, they are rendered down individual separate entities of the track, but for the whole duration of the track. So if we play this, it's going to start the tune and it's going to play completely all the way through. Just going to stop all clips down here. The next section is all clips, so these are all the loops and stuff from the tune cut up into individual loops. For example, over on the kick we've got 4/4, which is just a standard 4/4 kick, and then over here we've got the main, which is just the main glitchy bit. And we've got over on the bass we can put the main in, which will bring the sub of the bass in. Could bring in, say, just snare, which will bring in just the snare drum. And then we've got all kinds of other little things like this one here. I'm not sure what this sounds like, but look. So that just adds little effects. Bring this arcade in. So you can kind of pick and mix here your own tune. You can take any element of the tune and mix it all, mash it all up together, and everything's laid out here. There's quite a lot to choose from. The second area, which is again separated by one of these placeholders, is it's laid out in kind of a progression, so how I would lay the tune out. So what I've done is I've taken all the files from up here where I've put all the clips, and I've laid them out how I personally would make this tune go through. So for example, if we click play here on this this scene button, it'll play all the clips in the row like that. And if we click the next one, it's going to bring this little build in over here, which is just it's just a little subtle build. So we'll play that. And then we'll push this one. So now that's brought in the broken kick, and it's brought in the high snare, and that snare has a roll end in it, so I imagine that particular loop has a bit of a roll at the end, so have a listen. And I'm going to click the next scene. And so on and so on. And you can work your way down through this tune however you want. See, here's the main drop, and this just goes down and down and down. Again, this is just how I personally would play this tune. You can do it your own way, no stress. Yeah, so that's the basic gist of how I've got a loop set out. I've got some effects on each channel which are very particular to that particular layer. It's quite similar to my last set, but there are a few things which have changed. So if we look on this first bass layer here, you'll see I've got 3 beat repeats lined up in an auto filter. Now, beat repeat is Ableton's chopping, mashing up kind of in time to the music Uber plugin. What I use this for on the bass channel is I use it for simply looping or capturing a loop. So if I play this main loop here, and if I turn this first beat repeat on, what it's going to do is it's going to loop half of a bar in time to the music, the last half of the bar that's playing. So see how that's looped that on and off. And this one here will loop a quarter of a bar. Oops. Just like that. So if we bring in a kick, turn this off again. So it kind of catches the bass. This one does it a sixth of the beat, so it does it in kind of a triplet sound. which is quite fun. And this auto filter here, this is used for, it sweeps the frequency, the cutoff frequency of the bass up and down through a low pass filter. That's only good if you have a bass which has quite more of a harsh high end, for instance this one. So if I turn the auto filter on, put the amount up. So that's going to sweep up and down. Rather than clicking on and off with all these keys, I have assigned them to keys on the standard computer keyboard. So if we have a look here at this PDF document, just going to get through there. So this is the PDF I've made, which is included in the live pack, and we can see I've tried to lay them out down like this. So the 1 key, Q key, A key, and Z key are all apply to effects on the first track. 2 W, S, X will apply to the second track. And you see I've got 1 captures the half bar, Q captures the 8 bar, A captures the 6 bar, and Z turns the filter on. So if we go back to the live set and have a look, so if I push the 1 key. So that's turn that beat repeat on, push Q, we've got this one, and that's the third one, and Z turns on the auto filter. So each, as I said, each specific track or layer has effects which are very specific to that sound. For instance, the stuff on the kick channel won't really work too well on the bass channel. If I push again the keys 2, W, S, and X, which are assigned to the 2 channel, it turns on these effects. So I've got a filter delay, which doubles the kick. The next one makes it quadruples it up. The S will make it go crazy, and the X will turn on the filter and make it go even more mental, and then you just push them all at once to get rid of it. On the percussion, let's put in some percussion. I've got a phaser and a flanger, so if I push 3, it turns the phaser on. If I push E, it changes the way that the phaser works. It just changes various parameters which I've assigned, which I think are quite fun. Turn the phaser off, D will turn the flanger on, and C will change parameters of the flanger. This is quite fun. Good stuff for percussion. On this one, which is the melodies and all that kind of stuff, just turn that off. We've got an auto filter up here, which just kind of wobbles around a bit, and if we push R, it changes the rate of the auto filter, the shape of the auto filter, the rate that the auto filter goes. So you can push that to get some crazy random kind of effects. Cool. And the third one here, this is an effect rack which I've thrown together. This is one of the effects racks that I'd like to use. This effect rack chains up various effects that are native to Ableton and kind of creates their own little machine. And what I've got here is, if we look, I've got a grain delay with an EQ, and I've got the same thing again on the second chain. And what they do is they're basically set up as little format filters. So format filters meaning they resonate at they resonate similar to how a human voice box would resonate, the vocal cords vibrating. So it's a lot of fun to make your synth lines talk. I'll turn that on so you can hear it. If I move that up. And this one controls the time on the grain delay, so if I bring this down, there's no time. A lot of fun to play with. And this third one changes the pitch of the grain delay, so that'll create a real crazy sound. Yeah, so that's a fun one which I've stuck on there. I like racking up all these kind of things and playing with them, so that's a good one to try. On the techie bits, we've got, I'll just play this. I've got an auto filter, so if I push 5, it's going to turn that on. Again, that's just going to sweep up and down and change the whole sound. T's going to turn on this grain delay, which is going to do real crazy shit to it. Glitch the hell out of it. G is going to turn on this reverb, and B changes parameters of the reverb. Cool. And the final one we've got is, what should we turn on? Put this one on. So this is just a little loop. And on 6 we push 6, we've got an auto filter and a reverb. Y, we've got a redux, which reduces the sample rate of the sound. We've got H, turns on this grain delay again, another grain delay, which is fun. and it turns on a ping pong delay as well, and N will change parameters, and or changes the time of the grain delay. Lots of fun. As well as those 6 effects, I have 4 send channels set up. Now the 4 channels are set up as separate little audio channels that sit there waiting for an input. So on each of these channels you see we've got 4 knobs here, A, B, C and D. They correspond to these 4 sends here, A, B, C and D. So if I was to play, what should I play? I'll play this arcade loop again. So if I was to turn one of these up, it would send the audio through one of these channels and then out through the master. So let's go for A first. A, I have... You can see we have a simple delay, which is just going to delay the sound. But we also have another audio effect track. Now this one I have set up with the first thing that it has an EQ8, and as I move that up and down, it sweeps a bandpass filter up and down. So it changes the way that the sound delays. I'm going to turn it on to a triplet beat for the delay just so you can hear it better. So again, as I move this up, you can hear the pitch going up. We also have on this channel, I also have a reverb which starts kicking, and you can see here in the chain as the sound gets higher. So as I move this up, the reverb starts coming in. And as I move it down, we go into this third chain, which is a simple redux. So that's a lot of fun to play with. The second send that I have, where are we? Right. Second send is simply a beat repeat. So it's just going to mess the sound. I think if we look at this PDF file again, we've got... So here's the first set of reverb parameters assigned to keys. This is the one we're looking at the moment, the beat repeat. So if I push A, I, K, and the comma key, it's going to change various parameters of this beat repeat. So let's have a look. So you can see it's changing the pitch and it's changing the grid, and the last one turns to repeat and a auto filter on. Lots of fun. This final one, C, sorry, not the final one, C turns on a looper. Basically I've got a filter delay which has a key assigned to, this is just going mental, just turn the repeat off. Yeah, it has a key assigned to the feedback value of the filter delay between 0 and 100%. So if I push 9, you see how that feedback value goes up and down. That's handy if we turn the this up and we go. So I just turn that on. So now it's going to loop. And I've got these crazy effects after which are glitching the hell out of it at the moment. If we move down and push more keys, we can turn those off and on. So we've just got a nice loop going there. Basically it's just a delay looping at 16 with 100% feedback. So if I push O, it turns on a chorus. Crazy sound. L just messes with the sound. Turns on a gate and a grain delay. And the comma key does this. And again, make sure you push 9 to turn that off again, or else it'll just keep looping indefinitely. And the final one we've got is a very simple reverb. So we see it here. And if I push some keys, I think we've got this one here. What keys have we got? Yep. So 0p and the semicolon will change the sound. So it's going to change the decay time, the size of the reverb, and the pre-delay. Lots of fun. So those are the basic effects that I've set out. These are effects that I use. I usually use native Ableton effects when I play. Let's have some coffee. Hang on. And yeah. So that, I mean, I really use external plugins. I don't know, I've had too many crashes and stuff, and usually if I do use them, they're usually freeware ones as well, such as D-Blue Glitch, but I haven't included it in here because I wanted to keep it all nice and native to Ableton. The last thing I wanted to show you on this live set, which makes it different from the last one, and this is a technique that I use a lot of the time with my pad control, is a way to do real quick edits of the bass line. So this particular tune has this kind of really glitchy, all over the place bass line going on. What I do is I have each one of those individual hits of that glitchy bass sound assigned to one of the buttons on my pad control. If you're not familiar with a pad control, it's a grid of 16 4x4 it's 4x4, so it's 16 big bright red buttons which you can tap along in time to the music, and they'll trigger things in the music. And the way I do that is I basically take this loop here. So this is our main loop. This is the main bass line loop. If we just stretch that out a bit and have a look. So I'm just going to hit play. So you can see all the individual little hits down here kind of that bass line. If we look through, I've duplicated this over and over and over, but each time I've moved the little play symbol across one to the next hit. So this one goes to the next hit, and then this little clip goes to this hit. So basically you're re-triggering this loop from each individual point where there is actually something playing in the loop. So yeah, as I said, usually I'd have this assigned to my pad control, but in this particular instance I have it assigned to some keys. I have them assigned to keys which you need to hold down the shift key for. So you can see in this little chart here, we've got tick edit, tick edit, tick edit, tick edit, whatever. So these are all assigned by holding down the shift key and pushing the corresponding button. I've also named them in the actual file, so you can see here where main has an exclamation mark, this one has a Q, this one has an A, this one has a Z. So in theory what happens is, I'm just going to stop all the clips, is hold down the shift key, you bust all these buttons, and you can make a real-time edit of the bassline. One thing that you do have to note though is, if you want to do nice and fast edits, you need to turn the quantization onto a 16 or a 32 if you're feeling very brave. This just means that Ableton will snap when it plays the clips much faster than before. Before it was playing a bar, so you could hit play on something and then it would kick in the next bar. This way it'll kick in on the next 16th note. So I'm just going to hit 1 here. So this is assigned to 1, and if I push some keys, see how it's jumping all over the place? Well, it's a lot of fun. I try to do this in almost all my tunes because it's a lot of fun, and you can't really screw it up, and it looks pretty cool as well. So put in a kick in. So you get the idea. And the thing to remember is Shift 1 will always take it back. Will always take it back to the main one. Cool, and that's a lot of fun to play with. So I've just put that little tech edits part. That's just part of the progression as you work your way down through the scenes, and the second part of how I'd have the tune laid out. Yeah, I guess that's it. Have a lot of fun. Make sure if you make something new or remix something or do anything with this file, I'd really love to hear it. I really would. I love hearing what people do with this kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. Enjoy. And remember, tomcosm.com. Everything's free. Choice.